Today I want to talk to you about Bayonetta 3 and what the hell is going on with this game that we haven't really even heard about since 2017. Last time we were kind of looking into the development of a game, we talked about Metroid Prime 4. But I really want to focus on Bayonetta 3 as well because it was also announced in the same year as Metroid Prime 4, and we still don't know about it, and the game's been quietly pushed back. So let's actually look at that. And before we do, let's get into yesterday's comment question of the day, which was about what's your favorite Pokemon game and why. And we're going to go with Immortal Rooster, who said, my favorite game is Pokemon Platinum because Chimchar is my favorite starter and Garchomp is my favorite Pokemon. And the music in the game was the best music in a Pokemon game, period, in my opinion. And the legendaries, my God, the legendaries look like complete beast. I enjoyed them all, and overall, the way the game played and how the flow went from gym to gym and getting into Team Galactic and going to the underworld and everything, man, I can't wait for this game to get a remake. And today's comment question of the day is going to be, what is your favorite action game? We're talking about an action game today, one of the big action games out there. So what's your favorite action game out there? Is it Devil May Cry? Is it Bayonetta? Is it whatever? There's a billion of them out there. You guys tell me, what's your favorite action game? All right, so let's talk about Bayonetta 3, and we're going to go over 5 pieces of things that we can kind of look at a timeline for this game. The first, obviously, being when the game was announced. Now, it was announced all the way back in December of 2017, around the 8th, as an exclusive for Nintendo Switch. We got this nice little reveal trailer, which really wasn't much. It was more of a, as we'll play it here, it was just a CGI trailer, and it didn't really give us a tentative release date at all. It was just kind of one of those things that happened, it existed, and it got people excited because at the same time they announced, about Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 being ported over to Switch, and it was one of those things where, okay, we're getting Bayonetta 1 and 2, what about Bayonetta 3? Is that going to be a thing? And obviously it is, and Nintendo, for all intents and purposes, this has slowly become a Nintendo IP. Sega technically owns the rights to Bayonetta, and Platinum is the developer of it. And Kadaki Kamiya and all that stuff is the main guy behind it. But as you can see, this is literally what we got. This is the technically only official news on Bayonetta 3 that even exists. It's announced as now in development exclusively for Switch. That's it. That's it. Video's done, right? Not exactly. So we did get a little bit of an update on it. Finally, in 2019, we didn't hear anything about it in 2018, which was a little shocking that we didn't hear even like a whisper about it. Some people thought, including myself, that we might see it at the Game Awards again, but we didn't. And I thought it was strange that we didn't hear about it in 2019. But then when you get into this was back in February 17th of this year. Bill Trinan actually talked about it. Bill Trinan, for those who don't know, is America's senior product marketing manager. He used to work heavily in Nintendo Treehouse. He got well known for appearing in videos and live streams and stuff with like Shigeru Miyamoto, Reggie Fils-Aimé, all that stuff in Nintendo Directs and stuff in the past. You don't really see him on camera as much anymore, but he obviously is really good at translating Japanese to English and vice versa, and obviously now does product marketing. And he said on the Nintendo Power podcast, which is a podcast that Nintendo hosts themselves. They basically turned Nintendo Power Magazine into a podcast. And they put out an episode pretty sporadically, to be honest. And they just talked to various people inside Nintendo of America. And it says Bayonetta 3 is still in the works. And of course, that's another game that's maybe coming a little sooner than people anticipated. And this is really the first update we had about the game since it was announced. And this was in February 2017, and this spurred speculation that it would come out, this year because, he said this while he was discussing things that Nintendo fans may look forward to in 2019. And we literally didn't hear about the game since it was announced. So we're like, okay, so it's coming this year. That's interesting. All right, and to be fair, on Nintendo's financial reports, because they would put those out, it did say 2019, just like it used to say that for Metroid Prime 4, just like it used to say way back in the day, 2015 for Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. Like, Nintendo fully thought this game was coming out in 2019, and we were to believe it was going to be a 2019 title, but that changed. That changed when Nintendo released their next fiscal report, and this is in April of this year. Nintendo quietly moves Bayonetta 3 release date from 2019 to TBA. And there isn't much here other than when you go through Nintendo's financial reports, they always have a listing of games and release dates. And as I said, it said 2019. Bill Trinan kind of said it's coming sooner than maybe people expect, which again kind of made it feel like 2019. Just in February of this year, then in April they're like, yeah, it's TBA now, which pretty much means it's not coming this year. But again, we still hadn't actually heard anything about the development of the game. So what's up with that? Well, the E3 comes around, and people think maybe we're going to see Bayonetta 3 at E3. Didn't happen. But we did get a little bit of a development update. And this comes from Platinum Games themselves, Atsushi Inaba. And he says, Bayonetta fans shouldn't despair as development for the third installment of the series is going just fine. Not much of an update, but it's still happening. He told this video game he told VGC, no, development's actually going quite well. Games aren't usually done in a year or two. It takes a while, that's all. Things are going well, and I know a lot of people are asking for it. Giving updates for everything at E3 isn't the smartest PR strategy to begin with, so just because we're not showing it here doesn't mean it's not going well. Bayonetta 3 is obviously going to be exclusively on Switch, so that's really the first development update we had, is that it's going well. Okay, cool. Bayonetta 3 is going well. Yay! I mean, it was announced in 2017, and I think at this point, with it being, listed for 2019, then TBA, Bill Trinan saying that, we should expect it sooner than people expect, but people expected it this year, and it's not coming, so he was obviously wrong. It makes you wonder, when it was announced in 2017, was the game actually that far into development? It's certainly looking like no, and then you have him at E3 saying, it's not usually done in 1 or 2 years. Well, 2019 would be 2 years if it started in 2018, so, okay. The development timetable definitely looks like they started this game right at the end of 2017, maybe even the month it was announced, or something like that. So this is the real development update that we got back at E3. And then Bayonetta recently had its 10th anniversary. I'm not sure you're aware of this. So Bayonetta is a Platinum Games at 10th anniversary. This just happened on October 29th. Big deal for the whole franchise. And I'm going to read this and think about what's not talked about in this, which feels strange to not mention. All right, so here, this is from Hideki Kamiya, the main guy behind the Bayonetta series. And he says, sincerest thanks to all of you who have supported Bayonetta over the last 10 years. Today is a momentous occasion for me, and it's all because of your tremendous love. Bayonetta was my very first title here at Platinum Games, and I went into it with a lofty goal to make the best action game I possibly could. I poured my all into the game, and with that feeling firmly in mind. Now, 10 years later, I look back on those days, and I see peaks and valleys, good times and bad, but our staff pulled together through it all, and working as one, I think we managed to pull off something truly miraculous. To everyone who has been involved with the Bayonetta series, and to all of the Bayonetta fans who have helped us get there, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you'll follow Bayonetta's adventures and continue to love and support her for years to come. Bayonetta 3 is not even mentioned. And that's a little strange, right? Because the game hasn't really been talked about outside of one little back and forth at E3 in an interview with someone else at Platinum Games, not even Hideki Kamiya. And then, So what the hell's going on with this game? Well, I definitely think that there's probably some development snafus. Platinum Games is working hard on getting this game on Switch, and I think 2020 is probably now the publicly expected date, although Nintendo is not even willing in their latest financial report to commit to 2020 for the game. So is it going to be infinitely delayed like Metroid Prime? Like Metroid Prime 4, we know that saw a delay because development was rebooted. I don't think development's been rebooted for Bayonetta 3, but I think it is interesting that in an obvious PR marketing move, when you're on the anniversary of the franchise, you can at least mention the game is coming. Like, hey, we hope you join us in, the next adventures for Bayonetta 3 when it's ready to release. They don't even have to commit to like next year or anything like that. But Hideki Kamiya didn't even want to mention it, which is I find that just to be interesting. It's just an interesting nugget. I don't know, really, you can read between the lines and try to make out more of this if you want, but I think that Bayonetta 3 is likely coming in 2020. I think it's going to be like a summer title. I think it makes a lot of sense for like a summer release. And following up Animal Crossing and stuff like that. Nintendo's obviously internally has a good idea of when Bayonetta 3 is going to come, and all of the other Switch exclusives for next year, or any Wii U ports they're doing. Fire Emblem Encore, or FE Encore, I guess I should call it, Tokyo Mirage Session. So I think that there is a lot to look forward to next year, but I also think that Bayonetta 3 is going to be part of that slate. And I'm curious what you guys think about Bayonetta 3, because we don't have any real information. We have scant kind of references to it. We have December coming up, which is the Game Awards, and that's where it was revealed. So should we have an expectation that, hey, if it is going to come next year, should it be at the Game Awards? After all, it was revealed at the Game Awards. It would make sense to show up at the Game Awards, I think, personally. But then we don't really know if it's coming next year. This could be a game that keeps getting delayed and could end up on the next gen Switch for all we know. Or, heck, maybe they were waiting around for the potential Switch Pro, and they're going to make this, like, not necessarily Switch Pro exclusive. I don't think there's going to be too many of those, if that is a thing that even exists. But I do think it, especially for an exclusive, Switch game. But I do think it is something where, 30 FPS base Switch, 60 FPS Switch Pro or something, right? Like, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about it. I think it's just fun to bring up Bayonetta 3 just to have something to talk about today on a Sunday, because Bayonetta 3 is, Bayonetta as a franchise is just quietly the best action series in the world, in my opinion. Of course, that's my opinion. I don't play a ton of action games, so my opinion on action games is probably worth, diddly squat. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below about Bayonetta 3, its development, when you expect it to come out, when you think we're going to hear news on it again. And that's all I got for you guys today. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am Nathaniel Rufflegents from Nintendo Prime. Like this video, subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you in the next one.